This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
Hello. Same thing, different thing. We are back. We are back. Doing another episode of a new series on Stays Crunchy and Milk presents Creme Patissier, but this time we are talking about The Big Brunch on HBO Max. I am in the hosting seat. I am Nick Jew, joined as always by my partners from Cleveland. Say what's up.
What's good, people?
Good evening.
Okay, so I begged. They said I didn't beg, but I begged for us to review this new show on HBO Max, which is having a name change. They're with the Discovery takeover and all. It's going to just be Max, which is super annoying.
They are trying to ruin that whole purchase. I swear.
They really are. And they canceled Legendary, which makes me want to cancel my subscription, to be honest. But we're going to start with some news. Are we ready for a little news?
Let's go.
Bakers make the world go round.
I got the news this week, and it's a sad bit of news for I feel like, us Bake Off heads of Matt Lucas, who's been, in the co-host duties with No Voting, is leaving the show. This is straight from his Instagram. Farewell, Bake Off. It's been a delicious experience, and I can't imagine a more fun way of spending my summers. But it's become clear to me that I can't print both Fantasy Football League and Bake Off alongside all my other projects. So after 3 seasons and 51 episodes, I'm cheerfully passing the baguette on to someone else. I would like to give my warmest thanks and gratitude to everyone at Love Productions and Channel 4, and to Noli Pops, Paul, Dame Prue, the crew, and of course the wonderful bakers for welcoming me into the tent. I wish whoever takes over all the very best, and I can't wait to tune in to the next series without already knowing who won. XXX Matt.
I'm be sad to see Matt go.
Yeah.
I enjoy Matt.
Matt has had some interesting ups and downs in his career as an actor. Some blackface.
Ooh, I don't know.
Brown face, but enough to make you go, bruh. But I like him. I like his presence on the show, and I of course will miss him. I wonder who they're going to bring in to cover his duties, and what would I want from that? You know what? I watched one of the extra slices, and they had this one of English. I think she might have been black and Scottish. Can't call it. England is a weird country, and she was real funny. She had a real vibe, and I'm like, yeah, you would work. As I think about this now, bring me a black woman into the tent
not to like support the forced diversity or just to check a box, but I would really like to see a person of color. I wouldn't mind them bringing Liam back to host because he's really great on those kid shows.
Yeah.
That would be a hit. Like someone who was previously in the tent.
Right.
Yeah, and therefore has, that little bit of experience under their belt and know when to back off.
Liam is a big delight. His personality is super great.
I love Liam, whatever his last name is.
Liam Bakerman.
Liam.
Make it as fast as you can.
And hopefully that it brings like a new vibe, a new energy, and like whatever they were trying to do this season, hopefully they just go a completely different way. Because no.
Sir, madams, y'all get it together. Don't ever do that shit again. Or just like we said, we said, just stick to England. Just do a It's Welsh week. We eating some weird things that the Welsh fuck with.
Just bake. Make some fucking cookies.
After I watched the holiday episode, I guess the beginning of this calendar year,
Yeah.
and they had the people from Mississippi on, and it's just bacon. It seems like to them on their particular map, it's just like they have all these different classics that like just like, oh, this is how we make this, and then they already know how to do, like, not necessarily know how to do it, but they're pretty familiar with it. It's a pretty amazing to see like them just jump into it. It's like um meringues is something that yeah, you see every once in a while here, going bad at Marshalls, but that's something that they always have. It seemed like, so that was it's interesting, and hopefully they will come up with something that's a little bit off what they did this season, because we don't need another Mexican week. We don't need that
Never
week again.
ever.
Ever
Never, ever.
again.
Ever again. No more cooking.
Yeah, for real. All that cookery gotta go.
Speaking of cooking.
Teed that up, didn't we?
It's the Big Brunch, which is executive produced, hosted, judged, and created by our man Dan Levy.
Levy.
Great. Who is known from being Eugene Levy's son and also from Schitt's Creek, which was a delightful delight. And he is like me in our baking group chat. Like, I don't bake, I just like food. So I'd be like, smash, smash. So that's who he is on this show. He's not like a cooking expert. He's just a dude who really enjoys food and brunch. Especially for me living in DC, DC is a huge brunch town. So I'm completely bought in on the idea of a show centered around brunch. The first episode, I feel like they were still trying to find their footing. So we didn't learn everything about everyone at the same pace. Some people we got in the opening a really great intro about who they are and what they were there to do. And for other people, we didn't get that till the end of the episode. And for a couple of contestants, we didn't really get it at all this first episode. So the notes that I'm taking kind of are gone across the entire show for people's intro, because it just was like, here's a bunch of information about this one person and then nothing about this other person. So the other judges are Sola El-Wayley, who's an New York Times cooking person. Yeah, I just wrote cooking. That's fun. Time 100, one of Time 100's next innovators, New York Times cooking star, Time 100 next innovator. And then Ant also told me she was a part of that whole dust up over at, what was that website?
Bon appetit.
Yeah.
Not a part of it. The source of it.
The source of it, yeah.
Yeah, it broke that whole place down.
I only knew about that tangentially because I never really consumed any of their content before or since.
God,
I wish you were with us. You would have enjoyed that time and space.
Yeah.
Like Claire used to like remix like snacks like Cheez-Its and Kit Kats and Twix and stuff like that. And always in the background, you would hear, hey, Sola, can you come here for a second? Always needed her help, but she was not on camera at first.
Okay.
But all I know is I seen the cutie in the back with some short hair and some tattoos on her arms. I always wondered who she was, and as time went on, like, she would be on camera more and more, but yet, as she explained it later on, she wasn't getting paid anymore. And like, it's this whole edit that she has where like before and after she's on camera, where they're just like constantly calling her name, like, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, what do you think about this? And wasn't getting paid for it. And she blew the whistle, and I'm glad she did.
And then we find out old boy was doing brown face. The former editor of Bon Appetit was hiring. He was on some real racist nonsense. He truly was. So that whole place just basically got broke all the way down. Now they've come back and they've hired more people of color and so forth and so on. But Claire just went dolo. Layla, what's her name? Music.
Music.
Yeah, went dolo. Everybody who was in that kitchen during that period of time just went on with their separate ways and just do their own thing now, and it's
Except
fine.
except for the people who
Oh, it's except for the people it turns out were themselves probably racist and doing some dirt.
Right.
And
yeah.
and once you found that out, you're just like, oh, I can't fuck with y'all in the least. I block Bon Appetit. I don't see nothing Bon Appetit's doing. Like it does not exist in my purview anymore. And I
Wow,
like Sola for that.
that's
She came
crazy.
through. Yeah, she came through and kicked down the doors, man. And
And now
I
she's
respect
doing
her.
this, which hopefully will have multiple seasons and do really well. Like
Yeah,
even if their home is shaky or whatever. So the and the other judge is Will Guidara, who is the former co-owner and founder of 11 Madison Park, which has 3 Michelin stars and was number 1 on the 50 best restaurants list.
that's wild.
Wild.
Do we
Wild.
know about Michelin stars? I know about Michelin stars, but do we
Yeah.
know about them?
I mean, it's odd that the tire company is now like the people who tell us about the fancy restaurants because it really started as a guide for motorists, the
Yeah,
Michelin guide. I don't know exactly what they are, but I just know it's like this is some fancy shit, like the Oscar of the food industry. And then James Beard Awards are given to like individuals, like chefs and also restaurants too. So I don't know who James Beard is, though.
I mean, the internet is right here. We will find out.
Right.
Maybe we'll
Right.
throw a link in your show notes.
Yeah. So we've got 10 chefs who are looking for a big break, and the prize is $300,000, which is huge for a reality TV show prize that ain't Survivor.
Yeah, nearly everything I've seen in the world of reality TV seems to be around about 50K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes not even that 5K I've seen. So this I was like, okay, they seem shocked by that.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And so these chefs were hand selected for making a difference in their community. And so we have first Roman, who is a vegan chef. His spot is called One Grub, and the goal is to feed people quality plant-based food for free, no matter what their circumstances. Then we've got Danielle, who is our only baker in the kitchen. Started her business when she was 13 years old. She's known locally as the Scone Queen, and her grandma, Rosemary, was the one who ignited her passion for baking. And her goal is to do frozen, ready to bake items for the home. We've got Katie. She don't really have. We really learned a lot about Katie, except for that her passion for food came from her stepmom, who like taught her that food can be fun and punny, and she wants to do a youth education center for queer, specifically trans folks. And we've got Antoine, who has a culinary school but wants to expand it, and he teaches like basic skills to everyone, but it's actually, we find out later, he's a high level chef. He's not like a home chef. Kelly, she wants to open an event space in Hudson Valley, and her focus is sustainability and locally sourced, environmentally sound things. We've got Kip, who we don't know much about. Kip, he from Norfolk, and he want to start a food market. Mason, he wants a restaurant that's also a small cafe and a bake shop and also has some savory things. Then we've got Nadej. She made a documentary, wrote a book. She does traditional Haitian food, and she also does a cooking class for kids. Daniel, he wants to do an incubator for pop-up concepts, food as a tool to study his culture and identity. Who else do we have? That's it. Okay. So they're going to do every week 2 challenges. First the starter, then the main. No special ingredients or any tricks up the sleeves like other cooking shows. Every week has a theme. This first theme, also the title of the episode, today's brunch is you. So the first dish the judges want them to show them, like, what is you? What is your signature dish? This is how you introduce yourself to us and to the world. I did not write down how long they had to make it.
An hour.
An hour for the first one. The
Yep.
theme, 1 hour. I did write it down, to make a dish that demonstrates where their love for food began. So then we get a very interesting twist on a reality show. The judges go sit down and have a cocktail. I love it. I love it because what is brunch without some drinks?
The bartender, Shia, Xia. I was
I
like,
think it's
okay.
Kia. I think it's Kia, but yeah. Yes. And Dan orders a Caesar, which I've never heard of, which is a Canadian Bloody Mary, but with Clamato juice, which we find out that Dan was the face of Clamato juice like recently because he loved it so much. Which
So
is
when he said that, I was like, so wait a minute, is a Caesar actually a thing, or
right.
or you still advertising Clamato on the humble?
She seemed like she knew what it was as soon as he said it. So you know, there was a little bit of
Jay.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of editing here because we didn't see what Sola ordered, but they both were curious about the Caesar. So she brought 2 big Caesars and like a shot so they could all taste it. Everybody liked it. They're going for a full round. So we've got the walk around. At least Dan is trying to do the walk around, but he got his drink in his hand, so he's a little tipsy.
Sitting here like, never
Prime.
do. That's like he was prime. That's exactly what it was.
He was prime because he got offered an oyster, and he was like, "Normally I wouldn't do this, but let me get a little bit." And he definitely sampled a drunk ass oyster. And Will and Sola are back talking. So there's like a kitchen area with a partition that they lift up and down, then a dining room area and a bar. Dan goes into the kitchen to do the walk around. Will and Sola sitting down chit-chatting, and Will's like, I hope this is not like all the other reality shows where there's a villain, or like he want to keep the energy and the vibe wholesome, which I think serves any television show because everybody thinks a villain is interesting. I think it's much more interesting when we're rooting for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to point out that I absolutely love their set. It is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is something I didn't notice the first time I watched it. It was on second viewing. I was like, look at this tile on this floor. This is wonderful. So props to them for that set design. It's really well done.
And so then there's a bell at the time, and Dan is super unsure about the bell. He was just like, no, I'm feeling the bell. Because he was feeling that Caesar is what was happening. So Jay is up first, and the judges were super impressed that the fellow contestants like helped her carry the meal. So they're tasting the starter at the bar area, not at the table. So if they've come up to the partition, the chefs bring their offering up to the partition. So Jay is a Chinese Canadian, and for her, brunch is dim sum. So she made a pork and lapchung scallion ginger garlic sauce and chili soy sauce with her OG dumplings, she calls them. So Dan says every flavor comes through. He could demolish the entire tray. Sola said that they were fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you use that little sprinkle HBO Max right quick. Gotta get you. Like
he said, fucking awesome. And Will said that they were super well seasoned.
Yeah.
Right out the gate, we're doing great. Next is Roman, who makes a Mexican-style vegan ceviche using lion mane mushroom and canned hearts of palm, and I think one other kind of mushroom. It was 3 mushrooms. Sola says she'd never have vegan ceviche, and she was sold. She was fooled. She could have told her it was seafood, and she wouldn't have been none the wiser. Will loved the flavor, nice heat and acidity. Dan and Sola both fooled. So good for Roman. That's 2 so far. We hitting it right out the box. Katie, she made Oh, she carried her 3 plates herself. I don't know why I felt the need to. She was like, "I'm gonna do this myself. I don't need y'all
That's
motherfuckers
because
help."
she has, I believe her words were a little bit of a girl crush on Sola.
Yeah,
Excuse
she
me,
wanted to get. She
lady
get.
crush, lady
Yeah, she,
crush. Put some
her
respect on that.
that dress she had on, like I need it in my life. She made a brioche custard French toast. Sorry, brioche custard French toast sticks,
Mm-hmm.
which
That bad boy
her
was
stepmother
giant.
used. Yeah, which her stepmother used to call lady fingers. But like that's bread, baby. Sola said it was surprisingly custardy. Dan, delicious afternoon treat. Nothing from Will on that. Next, we've got Kip with oysters Rockefeller. Sola said she
she
lost
thought
the oyster a little bit because
Yeah,
the pimento was
the
too
pimento cheese was
aggressive.
like coming through.
the
Like
pimento
don't
and the egg was too much.
don't
Yeah,
be putting cheese on. Oh, man,
on
Lord knows.
I mean,
seafood.
I mean, sure, I can work with some of these guys, but don't be putting no pimento cheese on top of no damn oysters.
yeah, but
Yeah, I mean,
like a oyster Rockefeller's like breadcrumbs and parm on it anyway. It's just like it was just a twist on it, but maybe the pimento because what a pimento is cheddar,
Mixed in with
pimento,
mixed
cream
in with
cheese and
cream
shit.
cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that don't sound good at all.
Yeah,
I was I
as
wouldn't
a
eat it.
person who's never had an oyster before, um,
Oh, you don't want a jelly gooey ass slimy ocean slug
snot.
with pimento cheese on it. Trust me, you
Yeah,
don't.
Rocket oysters Rockefeller is cooked. At least oyster
Yeah.
Rockefeller is grilled, so it's at least cooked
Yes.
through. But
Yeah.
still, no, don't start it up to me.
I don't want that. Antoine made banana bread
some chocolate
with
ganache.
chocolate ganache and cardamom whipped cream.
Which
Will said it
sounds
was
amazing.
yeah,
And
and Will said
I don't even eat banana bread.
you don't. I love
I
banana. I
got
don't really love bananas, but I fuck with some banana bread.
see. I be feeling like those worlds collide. But you tell me I could eat banana bread and not taste banana?
Yeah, I don't like
Ooh,
bananas. Like I'll say this, of the people who don't like bananas, I still will eat a banana because of the nutritional value. But like
not
if my
ever.
mama makes some banana pudding, she have to make a small one with no bananas for me.
Yeah, like I really miss Maggiano's. We used to have one here. We don't have one anymore. But Maggiano's with their pound cake used to brulee their bananas. Like it was like a whole banana with like caramel. That shit did not taste like bananas. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Bananas are, if you can get
But
past the texture.
Y'all gotta understand. I once had to feed my babies banana because a part of being a daddy is bananas are so super important and nutritious.
And they
And
look like
I can
yeah.
barely hold myself together to feed my babies. That like just like
Yeah,
baby.
banana bread is different. It's just like I don't really like coconut, but there are some things with coconut in them that I will eat.
yeah, his cake looked amazing. It didn't even look like a banana bread. It looked like a slice of pound cake with some
It
chocolate on
did.
it. It
It
looked
did.
delicious.
And Will said it was a really, really good banana bread. Next, we
That
have
means
Mason. I
it
mean, it
wasn't
was
much in
hitting.
there.
That shit was hitting. That's what he wanted to say. Mason made a trout toast with quail egg yolk. And Sola said it was no seasoning on the trout and it was overcooked. Goddamn.
Yeah.
So, and somebody got my man for his quail eggs. He was real adamant
Mm-hmm.
about that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
whoever took my eggs, God, you know what I'm saying, come through. It's
My
like it's
shit.
okay, baby. It's okay.
Daniel made whatever omerice is with the demi
Omu rice.
glace. Omerice with the
Oh
demi
yeah, Omu.
glace sauce.
This where your boy comes through.
There you go.
Demi-glace is a rich brown sauce. It's from the French school of sauces, and I think it might be one of the mother sauces. There's several sauces that the French is like, you got to fuck with this one, and demi-glace is one of them. Omu rice is a traditional Japanese vibe, and they usually make it with a type of ketchup, not the sauce.
Huh.
Yeah, it's basically like scrambled eggs over a pile of rice with some ketchup on top of that.
It did look like scrambled eggs.
It is. It is. So
All right.
it is exactly that.
Dan said it was really fun to eat. Sola said it was a tasty hangover food.
Yeah.
And then we have Nadej, who really played herself. First of all, that Haitian tasting thing that she was doing, that shit looked unsanitary as the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
to
licking her
me.
palms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was avoiding licking the spoon and therefore stirring her her own sauce back into the pot. I figured that's what she was doing. That way she
Right,
could taste it, but
right.
not contaminate the
But
utensil.
if you gon' put the utensil on your hand, lick it, then do it again, we have a fucking problem. Because she would do it like 3 times in a row. And unless she was really precise about that lick, it was a double dip. And then she got real cocky and slightly was like, I can't give these white people this seasoning, and fucking played herself. She made a spaghetti aranzo, which is like a just Haitian spaghetti with a smoked Scotch bonnet
Smoked
and
herring.
smoked herring,
Yeah.
Scotch bonnet, but only a little bit, and some bread. And
They
so
seem to like the general, I guess the general bite of it, you know what I'm saying? Spaghetti on bread, which is some black ass shit if I ever saw
but
it.
Sola said it was bland.
Oh yeah, no
She said
doubt.
it
I'm
was
saying,
bland.
but I'm just pointing out to you that Sola is a Southeast Asian, and
Is
the
she?
white yes, and the white folk
Okay.
on either end. The white folk on either end was kind of like, I like it, and then Solo's like,
Right.
bruh, we know it, we know what it
Right.
is.
She said, "Don't hold back for us." Like,
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
Dan said, "Do what you want to do, and we'll follow you," which is great advice. If it's too hot, they got some water and fucking clamato juice right there. Kelly made sweet potato russet rosti with smoked
Rosti.
salmon. Rosti
Yeah,
with smoked
yeah.
salmon, and she didn't smoke the salmon. The feature of your dish, you opened a package and put it on a plate as your introduction of how you got into food. Oh, Sola, I
I
want you to cook the salmon. I want you to cook the salmon. I just found her to be really uncomfortable and like very nervous on camera, I think is what it was, because she was having some struggles, like looking
Yeah.
at the
so
camera and talking.
so on my second watch, I was like, because Ed had pointed out to me, go watch, man, because you know what I'm saying it's some stuff about her, and I'm watching, I'm like, no, this part right here, you're just being a bit of an ass. It doesn't seem camera at all. It just seems like you're like, I'm trying to cook and you over here talking to me, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like on that second, when we'll get to it, that second round, somebody put something in her ear, was like, let's look, bro, this is kind of what we do here. We're going to come and chat
Right.
with you. You got to chill. And that second time around, a much more mellow vibe to the whole situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so she was hyper focused, and I feel like that did her a disservice.
Yeah. And then Will said her rosti was underseasoned. Yikes. Big yikes. And then we've got Danielle, the scone queen, who made chocolate chip and cheddar chive scones with pepper, not together, one chocolate chip scone and then one cheddar chive with paprika and molten sea salt. Sola, ballsy to give a couple of scones. Right choice. Flaky and light, but hearty. Dan, very naughty. Uh, he was impressed, and Will said it was one of the best scones he's ever had, which is crazy because I think his wife is like a baker.
So this is another one. I'm like, I don't like this lady.
Oh, really? You ain't like
She
Danielle?
and that's me being probably just a judgy little bitch. But it just if she felt off when everybody else felt
Well, she's
a
not a
different way to
chef.
me.
She's a baker.
She's a baby.
I guess
But
that is
She's
the
a
point.
baker. Actually, I thought, especially by like the third episode, that she was gonna go home early because of her being a baker. And like, I haven't finished it, but I've gotten pretty far into the season. And like, I don't think that there's anyone in there that I dislike, which is so interesting to me. I like everybody. I think everybody's compelling. I don't have a bad feeling or a judgment about anybody.
I mean, this is off my episode for
Yeah.
episode one viewing of her, and basically that's me taking my own whatever on her. I can find out amazing things about her.
I just kind of feel like I I don't know from watching these kind of shows almost on the daily, because I mean I love Discovery Plus. Like it just seems like to me like I said, I'll have to watch more episodes because I'm like on episode 6. Like
I think that's where I stopped too.
yeah, it
If
just seems
anybody
like,
feels like the darling, it's Danielle. I'm just watching the show, and I don't feel like they were trying to make Danielle the hot one. Like to me, that was very obvious with Rebs, and I was just like, get this lady out of my motherfucking face. But I think Danielle feels like a sore thumb because she's the only baker. There's 10 people in there, and she is the only baker.
And I trust your opinion on matters like this because you be knowing and you be watching shows like this with a little more knowledge under your belt than we have. So I got you, man. If you see it, I believe it.
I think that the editors are trying to make us like people more than others, and I'm not falling for it. I want to. I'm looking at the food. Like, who got the food I want to eat? And so far, I think the show really wants us to like Jay, and they really want us to like Danielle. And I'm not moved by them as people until like the 4th episode, truly.
All right.
So we go into the main. That is to show where you're going. So they've got 1 hour to create a dish that is going to be the model for their career, like if they win this show. So the judges go back and they discuss. So far, we've got on the bottom, quote unquote, Nadej, Kelly, and Kip, who are kind of in trouble going into the main. Sola and Will are going to do the walk arounds this time. And the standouts in their walk around is Nadej is making shrimp and grits with like a whole lobster. So they are like supremely excited for this offering. And because last time Dan got the gas face from Kelly, they kind of cautiously approach her this time. Like, hey girl, we have to fucking talk to you. Like, we can't do the show if we can't. And in one of her interviews, Kelly said that her wife warned her about her like concentration face, that it's her like resting bitch face. So I think it's a thing that she's probably just awkward. Everybody doesn't do well on television, and maybe the fault of the casting to not cast somebody who's more charismatic than her, but she just was like, she felt to me like she was there under duress. So
if she had she been a more personable situation, do you think that would have gotten her further along?
No, because her food wasn't good. Unfortunately.
I'm like, look, your food was fine, right, but you're a pretty good person.
Yeah,
that can keep you in the kitchen longer.
Mm-hmm.
But you was a butt, and your food was whack. Get the fuck out of here.
Like they said, she didn't really cook anything. She like put a dish together. She made a salad.
Yes.
So Kit made root veggie seasonal fritter with smoked ham. He was going to make a hollandaise, but it broke. For the mains, they are served at the table by servers instead of coming up to the window. So they have a full sit-down dinner. Dan loved the broken broth. Sola liked the mushrooms. Will said, great job. So it was like happy accident because he tried to fix that hollandaise with some xanthan gum and it was no dice. So he made something else, which is a good, got to be on your toes because sometimes shit don't work out. Danielle made a bacon, egg, and cheese with everything bagel biscuit sandwich, basically, with souffle, baked eggs, rosemary candied bacon. I feel like it was too fancy. I don't know if I would have smashed, but they were loving it. It was huge. They could barely bite it. So she was like, you can cut it.
I was kind of like, is y'all putting over the camera? I done seen bigger biscuits than this in my day. Y'all wild. y'all have gotten too used to eating these little tiny amuse bouches at y'all restaurants. So y'all done forgot what it is to eat like a motherfucking G.
Y'all know
that biscuit wasn't that big.
CB4. Turn around,
Yeah.
eat your big ass biscuit. They really loved it. The only thing Sola said is that the bacon was slightly overcooked. Will said it was
Yeah.
amazing. Roman fucked around till the buzzer. All he had to do was ladle some fucking soup in the bowl, and this nigga was chilling. I want it to be hot. I want to wait. I want to wait. You're like number 3, dog. You ain't got to wait the whole time. He didn't get his soup in the bowl, so he was making vegan pozole and menudo, and he ended up only having one each because he ran out of time. And it was lion mane mushroom, enoki mushroom, king oyster mushroom, French bread, a steamed tortilla, and not only was it only one bowl each, it wasn't good. Wasn't seasoned. Wasn't seasoned. Will said, as a follow-up to the starter, it really dropped down. Sola said it should be fully seasoned. He tried to give them a squirt of lime to kick it up, and she was like, "That got to go without the lime, friend. That should be a garnish." Katie, oh my God. Katie tried to make a play on an Egg McMuffin and McDonald's hash browns, and her hash browns broke in the fryer.
Been there.
And Dan said, if you're going to do something this simple, it needs to be flawlessly executed. And it just wasn't. Nadej made spinach? No. Something cornmeal grits with shrimp and lobster with avocado watercress salad. And it was under fucking salted. The ancestors are so ashamed. You gonna serve these white people under seasoned food, not once, but twice. Twice, sister. What are you doing? Mason go ahead, sorry.
You could see you could see all that paprika. You could see some onion powder, garlic powder, but you see the twinkle.
Salt.
You see the twinkle, baby.
Mm-hmm. Because paprika ain't nothing but coloring.
Unless it's smoked paprika,
right?
You might as well just call it red number 4.
Mm-hmm. Put some salt in that bitch. Mason made a French toast croque madame.
I got something for you on this one.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So a croque monsieur, it's French, of course. It's a ham and cheese on a buttered bread, often served as a sandwich, with the cheese and ham melted into the bread. A croque madame.
Mm-hmm.
The addition is throw a fried egg on top of that
egg,
bitch.
Right? Yeah, the egg.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's always pointed out by my man Nick Weiger of the Doughboys that Paula Deen once talked about how much she loves a croque madame because it looks like a breast.
Oh my God! it do look like a fucking areola.
It's one of the things. It's one of the little jobs that the French chefs have about the croque madame. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Dan said it was everything you want for brunch, like basically everything, a plate of everything, like everything on the menu on one plate. Daniel made mushroom dashir porridge.
Yeah, it's rice porridge and duck breast.
Dashi rice porridge, and it looked nasty as fuck. Just from where I'm sitting.
I don't think we got a good little bit of a discussion about it either. Like they didn't really. Did they seem to chat about that with any?
Will said the presentation was beautiful, and he was like, "I could eat a lot of your food." And Sola said the duck is really nice and tender, nicely seasoned. That's all they said about it, though.
You made food.
It looked pink. The duck looked pink, which I know is like kind of how it's supposed to look. It just didn't look like neither one of his dishes. IMO looked like something I would eat, but he's like a gastro dude, and they're all about it.
I don't think I've ever eaten duck, so I'm unsure.
Fatty and greasy, and it tastes like chicken.
It's nasty. It's way nastier than chicken.
Gamey, greasy, fat. It's like how rabbit is really good gamey chicken. Duck is not that good to me.
You have to brine the shit out of a duck,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, I was thinking about doing a duck for this Christmas because it's not that hard. You brine it, you score that fat, um, and you let all the fat leak out. It can be good, but certain parts, especially like the thighs and the legs, can be very gamey. And game just tastes like dirt to me.
This
Earthiness.
bar, this bar that I go to, they don't have it anymore, but they used to have duck confit nachos on the
Mm,
menu. Like duck fat, if you fry some shit in duck fat, give it to me. I'm all in.
yeah.
It's just the duck meat itself I don't know that I love.
I had a confit chicken once, and I don't like that preparation for my poultry. I get
Yeah.
it. People love the confit method. I'm like, nah, buddy, I'm good.
Mm.
Just
Right.
try
Slow,
that shit.
Fry.
slow fat ain't always good. Like
I don't really enjoy
because
smoked meat in general too.
hmm,
Cause it be pink. And I'm always like, is it cooked?
is it good? I,
uh
yeah. Enough about that.
Kelly made a salad. Legitimately. Bird's nest salad, she called it. Sous vide eggs, potatoes, bacon. Salad was salad. And then she tried to tell the story of what the salad represent.
It's too
My
late, baby.
God. I
It's
was like,
too
is she? I
late.
felt like, what's happening? What is
Now
happening?
this is the part I clearly heard her voice cracking.
Mm-hmm.
she was
She
she
was
was
about to cry,
flustered.
baby.
I didn't think she was about to cry, but I did feel like she was very flustered at that point.
I
And I
thought she was gonna cry too, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. I just wanted somebody in the back like, it's okay, baby. Keep on
yeah,
going.
yeah.
Keep that Christmas poem going, baby. Keep going.
uh,
Dan said it could use a boost in the flavor department. Sola said it was missing salt, and that the buttermilk dressing was flat. Will said he was digging the metaphor. The preparation was messy, and it was under seasoned. And then Jay closed us out with a congee with prawns, juk in Cantonese, rice porridge made from jasmine rice, chili oil. And she made her own chili oil. Dan really enjoyed it a lot. Chili oil so good. Sola said, I want to eat every single part of this. And she said, your chili oil is better than mine, which blew the
Oh
roof
wow.
off of the building. And Will said it was delicious. Um, After they closed out the judging, Solo was like, I want to eat this whole fucking thing.
did we do Antoine?
Antoine. Did I skip Antoine? What the hell did Antoine? Salmon cake with poached eggs and béarnaise sauce, potato Anna with horseradish butter, or called palms Anna, as Sola pointed out. She said, good technique, good seasoning.
All right. Of course,
They
I'll bring
they
us back
they
around
skipped my
because
man that like that too. They went through him real quick too.
well,
Real quick.
I brought it back around because guess what? I got you some shit about this.
Palms Anna.
Parmesan, seemingly a very big deal in French cookery. It is sliced layer potatoes cooked in a very large amount of melted butter. Uh, the way you have to do it basically has to be flipped like every like few minutes while it's cooking all together. So it's not just something you could just set it and forget it. And I thought that was pretty dope. And then I
High
was like,
technique.
béarnaise. Yeah, I was like, what's up with béarnaise sauce? Because he said hollandaise at first, and then he said béarnaise when he got to the table. And I was like, what's going on there? Béarnaise, as it turns out, is considered the child of hollandaise sauce. The difference is béarnaise uses shallots, chervil, peppercorns, and tarragon in a reduction of vinegar and wine. And hollandaise is made with a reduction of lemon juice or white wine vinegar with white peppercorns, and a pinch of cayenne. And I was like, I'm sitting here right tonight watching this with my son, and we are discussing the various mother sauces of French cookery. So that's how. If you want to know how,
Yes.
like, all of a sudden, how did tea get all into béarnaise and hollandaise tonight? Because my kid was riding shotgun as I watched this episode, and they had to tell him what was what in the game of sauces and so forth. But yeah, them palms, Anna. I was like,
I'd
okay,
I'd
you out here,
smash. That shit look like
bruh.
crispy and buttery. Like I would smash.
Butter fried sliced potatoes. Yes, yes, please.
Uh, there's a TikTok of Dolly Parton. Like every diet I've ever failed on has been because of a potato. Potato, potato, potato. Like me too, Dolly. I've never met a potato I didn't like. Potato is that girl. So the winner they are telling them that the winner of the week will receive first judging for both main and starter next week, which is huge because your food doesn't sit around as long, and also you get the like anxiety of it out the way. You go, you know. So
Pretty
the judges
smart.
go back to discuss. Their tops are Jay and Danielle. Bottom is Nadej ish. She's kind of on a bubble. Roman and Kelly, which is interesting to me that she was on the bubble because they didn't like either of her dishes. With at least with Roman, they really loved his ceviche, but they didn't love his soups. And Kelly, she just didn't. She didn't do well
Anything.
at all. And she was our first to go.
Yeah, what's watching Chopped for many, many years, the, the one thing to get your ass chopped is to make a salad. It
Friend.
always seems like, oh, you made a salad? We don't like that. You didn't dress it right. It's always bad. Always bad.
Because you don't really cook anything. And I think she tried to poach that egg or whatever to like show some sort of skill. But I don't care if it's the best poached egg I've ever had in my life. Somebody in that motherfucking tent made biscuits. And somebody tent, not tent, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Somebody made like, like there was some high level
Yes,
cookery going
going on.
on, and
That's
you opened a package of fucking salmon in round one, and in round two you poached an
and
egg.
had a bad potato dish with that salmon.
that plating looked awful.
Awful.
Like on that salad she made, that roasty was interesting. Oh yeah, roasty. I wrote that
Yeah,
down too. To me,
roasty. Yeah, what that is?
roasty is a Swiss dish consisting mainly of potatoes sautéed or shallow fried in a pan. Don't
Yeah,
worry, I got you. In case y'all wonder what a
it's
roasty was. In
it's
this
in the
case,
same
she made it with sweet potatoes. That was her twist on the roasty,
it's
and
in
them
the
shits
same
wasn't good.
family of Alatka.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, and
I've started my latkes this year because I'm trying to do it without certain ingredients because of my cholesterol and shit. So I've made them twice so far, and I need something to get them crispy because of no oil. So I think it has to be like a cornstarch. I think.
mm,
So the trick I learned. So when you cut your potatoes and do you
Mm-hmm.
let them drain, the starch that comes out at the bottom of the potatoes, you got to keep that
Mm-hmm.
starch. It's tricky, but
Oh.
that's what helps. So after
To
you drain the
bind them?
water, yes. So after you drain the water, after you let them sit, you got to keep the starch at the bottom of the bowl. So
Okay.
maybe try to ladle out the
later
water.
the water out and keep that at
Okay.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't really use eggs anymore. I'm trying to stay away from grease and shit. So I'm making my little adjustments. Got like 10 days. So our first episode, I think it was a little clunky with editing or whatever, but I think for me by episode 3, I was like crying, like fully bought in. I was really liking the humanity of it, the story aspect, and I really just love that Dan is there like I'm here to eat. Is it
Yeah,
Yeah.
good? Because Sola is like your technique person, and Will is like trying to be nice, but also like I had the best restaurant in the world, so I'm gonna let you know it wasn't that good. But Dan is just like, give me this.
yeah,
Yeah. Sola is definitely playing the heavy in these episodes, like
Yeah, but even
saying
she's
fuck.
nice. Yeah, but even she's really, and I think you know what it is. A light bulb came on for me, and it's Chopped, because
Mm.
when I was in the hospital, I watched Chopped for hour all day, every day,
Hmm.
and on Chopped they make people have like kind of a chip on their shoulder to give it a competitive edge. So you pick one. You like, oh, I like this person. Oh, I don't like this person. And I think that vibe doesn't exist for me on this show the way that it does on Chopped, because you got them quick half-hour hitter quitter episodes and then you never see them people again. So I think I get it. And because if I was watching it with my Chopped mentality, I'd be like, yeah, this nigga cocky. Oh, she boring. I don't like her. But I think when you go on a journey with them throughout the season, it hit different.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to. I would like to see like the third judge, like personality more, but it seemed like like right now he's a little,
Will?
yeah, Will's wishy washy. Like Dan is the fun one. Sola is the, you know, she'll tell it like it is, but she's not. She's not unfair about it. And
Mm-hmm.
right now he's just like, whatever, baby. That was good.
Yeah.
Well, that was bad.
And I like that they're there to just like enjoy the food, and they're slightly disappointed when the food isn't good, because they're like, oh, damn, I wanted you to do well. I wanted this to be, I'm hungry. I'm a little drunk too. It's like, feed me.
These things matter. I'm definitely gonna throw you in your show notes. One of Sola's YouTube videos. Her and her husband cook together for New York Times. They do these little challenges where they are given an ingredient or expect to try to make a several course meal out of it. It's a delight. Her and her husband are great together. Of course, they're married, so they should be, but they have a good vibe together.
Again.
They have a real good like, because they're both trained back of the house chef cooks and so forth, so they know what they're doing. They know how to communicate with each other, and it's always a delight to watch what they do. I just love Sola's. I just love Sola, bro. Like I said, for a very long time. So I'm happy to see Sola not slowly but sure, at this point, quickly now blowing the fuck up and people putting respect on her name. She's excellent.
I liked her instantly. I was like, oh, glasses, hair, dress. I fucking love her. When she was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's go.
Correction. Bangladesh is South Asian, not Southeast Asian. So
okay.
It's like beneath India to the right. So
definitely thought she was like Latina. That's
no. Yeah. No, she's Bangladesh, and her husband is Egyptian.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So
good food in that house.
Basically, a couple of different sections of Islam coming together, and none of their family liked their cooks, which she pointed out on that episode. I had to chuckle.
To Daniel, because Daniel was like, because they asked him what his family thought, and he was like, they hate it. And Sola was like, mine too. And Sola fucking famous. She making her living cooking.
Yeah. So it's like, because sometimes parents be on some nonsense. Y'all gotta just suck it up.
I was really disappointed in Nadesh. I'm like, I'm rooting for everybody black. And then she fucked up twice.
Yeah.
It is my hope that going forward, she get her shit together. And I don't know. And so
she got to get out of her own way. Truly. She have to stop being cocky, because where you're from, maybe your food hitting and it's banging and everybody loves it. But there's one thing about ethnic food, it doesn't always translate. So when you try to water it down to make it, more, digestible
palatable,
for a broad audience, palatable, you fucking up. You taking away the thing about it. That's good,
Yeah.
Not to take away from too much of a future episode, I feel like she said something pretty interesting. Like she was saying, like she's Haitian, and she didn't come into her Haitianness until recently.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know a lot of kids that grow up in different cultures. They run away from their food because they're in America and they want to kind of assimilate. But then, like when you get older, you realize, like, yeah, I wish I'd have paid more attention to how my grandmother did this, and that's just one of the downfalls of being here. Like,
I think Jay said something similar to how she kind of had tried to assimilate a little bit and then just dug into her culture via food. I mean, same thing that happens to a lot of people. I just recently, because I was spoiled, I have a huge ass family. My mom got 10 brothers and sisters. My dad had 15. So I didn't have to learn how to cook this shit. Now I've been gone for 10 years and now I'm like, oh, I gotta make the potato salad. I have to make the gumbo. Like it's me now. And thankfully, the ancestors have just guided me and my gumbo fucking smacks. But it could have not, and I waited a really long time to start experimenting and trying things.
Yeah. It's just something about having like the differences in families. Like my mom is she's a baker, and it's all about measuring and like knowing what to do. But I grew up watching my grandmother cook, and it was a little dash here, a little bit dash here, and you see that's the way it's supposed to look, and that's the way I cook. So um, I don't know. Hopefully, as my boys get older, they can watch me cook, and um,
The
you
men in
know,
my family cooked. My father cooked. He taught my mother how to cook. He's taught my stepmother how to
mm,
cook. He taught my brother how to cook. I cooked starting young, but it was not like soul food. It was just like mom has two jobs, get the fucking spaghetti started cooking.
yeah.
And my grandmother, she was my only living grandparent when I was born, and she, as of like 2 days ago, been dead for 35 years. So my mom was the matriarch of the family. So I just always went and ate or sat and ate. And so now it's like, oh, my mom getting older and her sisters are getting older. So like this on me and my brother cooks his ass off. So I'm coming to it now out of necessity, like also how I've learned how to make all my Mexican food favorites because I don't love the Mexican food on the side of the country. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like, that, necessity. And my mom don't bake. She's never baked. I don't really bake. So that's a skill that I'm probably not ever going to pick up unless I really want to, because I feel like you can walk down many streets in the city and pick up some delicious baked goods.
You got to
For
get you like
sure.
just two, three recipes that you call your own. Like these are my
Yeah.
three things that I can bake. You'll be straight.
I think it's the math that's
That's the
intimidating about
it's the
baking.
it's the one thing that's logical. It's the one thing that you'd be like, okay, I
Yeah,
need
I'm not a
X amount.
math. I'm a liberal arts kind of girl. I don't math.
I know, but it never changes. You will
Right.
always need 13 grams of whatever the fuck you need 13 grams of
How am
every
I
time.
make a gram? What a gram is? I need a scale in the
You need
kitchen.
scale.
You do need a scale in your
Oh
kitchen. If you don't got
yeah.
a scale in your kitchen, you need one, and don't make Santa have to send you
Yeah.
one.
But let me tell you, my apartment is the size of a postage stamp. So my kitchen is that big. So as
I know.
as I've started getting more comfortable in the kitchen, I keep asking for kitchen items every year because I'm like, oh, I need this, I need this. Like I'll never have a stand mixer in this kitchen, but like a hand mixer, shit like that. I'm like, oh, I might need an immersion blender because I could,
Oh
I've been thinking
you
about getting
know,
an immersion blender too.
yeah, like I could do some shit
it
with
is
this.
great.
Yeah.
Like, but I know you said you don't want one, but a stand mixer made my baking game go up
It's not that I don't want
like
one. I don't have room for it. I don't have
imagine
counter
room
space
for
for it. I don't have storage space for it. Like as it is now, I'm thinking about getting rid of my crock pot because my instant pot has kind of taken the place of everything I would do in the crock pot. And then maybe in that space where my crock pot lives that I have to climb a ladder to
it.
get to, I could put a stand mixer up there.
Stand mixers are heavy as hell. I don't think you could like mine
I've seen a
legit was
small
50
one.
pounds.
I've seen like a mini one. Like everything that they make in big now, they're starting to make in it's only you. Because even my instant pot is like a 3.5 quart instant pot.
Hmm.
This is up.
But yeah, I'm excited about the season. I binged like the first 5 or so episodes, and I was like, no, I want to review this. So I don't know how it ends. I think I think probably in the middle we can maybe do 2 at a time. But while there's double digit people there, we probably want to break it down like this because it took us an hour to do this first one. But I don't think we need to separate them.
We ain't talked in a couple of
Okay.
weeks. We had to catch up too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. But yeah, thank y'all very much. It was fun being in the driver's seat. I had to do it again next week.
Driver seat. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't even know how we end the show. I don't have nothing sassy to say, but I am your host, Nick Jew. You can also find me on the airwaves hosting the What's the Tea podcast with my podcast partner, Reginald Arted the Edgy. We also are doing a little recapping of Canada's Drag Race presents Canada versus the World over on our Patreon. And also, we have the fellas. Tell them who you
Indeed.
are.
We do it every week over at stagecrunchyMilk.com. Oddly enough, it won't be a new one up this week. You'll get one of our Patreon shows, which is called We Tried, and I'll probably give you the most recent one of those. But we also just dropped today as we record, and yesterday, as you hear this, assuming you listen when it first comes out, a brand new episode of A Pod Called Cast, Volume 2, Episode 3. It's called Bars Crawl. We talk about our top 5 opening lines to songs. I listened to this episode. I want you to understand that I made these episodes. I'm the one who has to be. I produce these episodes, but I listen to it as a person who listens to this shit, and it's a fucking banger. It is so good an episode. I'm so proud of it. Everybody who has listened to it thus far has told me as much. Go listen to that episode. It's everywhere you can get podcasts. It's a pod called Cast. We really do well. We do good work. I want y'all to know that. And this particular one just turned out so good. I got to give it up to my man Delvin Cox, my man Carl Tarp for coming through and helping me out on that one. Like I said, it's everywhere. That's the one I want you to listen to. Like I said, Stats Crunch and Milk is off this week, and we'll be back next week. And that's what's up. Thank you. Anthony?
My name's Anthony. I'm on these shows. Except What's the Tea, I'm not on that show.
Listen, if my podcast partner wasn't famous and we didn't decide 10 minutes before we record that we were recording, we would have many guests on the show.
Well, a podcast, I listened to it this week. Man, T did a hell of a job editing that show.
I can't wait. Tomorrow for me. Tomorrow.
Okay. I won't say too much, but Delvin, man, brought back so many memories. The way he speaks on the show, just I don't know if I've ever had that type of confidence about speaking about anything in my life. It was so great. But more about me, I'm on Stage Crunchy and Milk, and that's also a great show. 10 years running almost, and yeah. And I'm looking forward to week 2 of the Big Brunch. This is another show I'm enjoying recapping. I'm loving the second watch of it because the first one, man, T was like, "Oh no, this Kelly lady." I'm like, "Come on, man, you got to give her a chance." But we didn't need to. She's going.
Didn't have to give her a shit. Her ass
have
was
to give her
gone.
anything. Give her shit.
I knew it off the word go. I don't like that chick, and guess what? They took care of business for me. And it's like, you don't like it, T? Don't worry, I got you, baby.
We don't either. Po Kelly. Well,
Shifty.
That's it. What's your outro? You just been podcasting too, and I know you love it.
Peace.
Dad, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful.